All right, sweet. Well, thank you, Brad, for letting me talk about my experience this summer as a branch manager. I'm very excited to share this message with all of you today for SC3. And well, I want to start off by confessing something to all of you. I didn't want to branch this summer. I just didn't feel prepared to do so, and I wanted to delay this opportunity for next summer, 2021. Now, some of you already know me, but for those of you who don't, I've never been an exceptional sales leader like Benny Cooper or Miguel Sanchez, for example. I came into the job as a very introverted person, but I took the job because I knew it would force me to go out there more and socialize with people and start off conversations with people I didn't know. I also needed something different on my resume that would help me stand out from the crowd and just build my skill sets. I've always been good at academics, maintained a really high GPA, and performed really well in sports, CIF State and D1 and all of these cool things, but I lack those soft skills that top companies are looking for nowadays. So I decided to start off with Vector and continue with Vector throughout the fall and spring campaign. But when I started 2 years ago, I went 0 for 7 my first couple days, and I recorded about 250 CPO for my fast start. And it took me about 6 months to reach my second promotion. So I didn't start too spicy. Now, I did improve dramatically over last summer and had about an $18,000 summer while working 3 to 4 days a week in the office. Now, working as an assistant manager that year allowed me to have more confidence in myself and have more interaction with people through interviews, through trainings, and that transitioned to my demos, and I was able to apply those skills to my customers as well. Now, I felt really good about that summer and how it ended. I won a push trophy for SE2 as an assistant manager after hitting 7K for the push period. But when Hans talked to me about branching the summer of 2020, I gotta admit, I was scared. I told him, hey, I don't feel ready. I think I should be better at sales. I don't think I'm that great. I don't think I can teach people. What am I gonna do? And I proposed that I work under his office for another summer to develop more and go out the next summer a little more prepared. And for a moment, that was the plan. But a couple weeks later, I want to say that J-Brad had a hand in this. But Hans talked to me about, all the pros that branching would give me. He talked about my resume, skills that I would develop, like team management and leadership skills, the income opportunity, looking at $15,000 in income for the summer, all the trips and the prizes and the pushes and, all the cool prizes. And when we went over the cons, I don't remember there being any cons, to be honest. The company literally gives you money as a branch manager to open up your own office, send flyers to schools, post ads on the internet and stuff like that. And he told me, worst case scenario, your branch produces nothing in sales, which is not gonna happen, but let's say it does. You sell 20K for the summer and make $10,000 in income. So I was like, wow, that's worst case scenario. Well, doesn't sound too bad. Okay, so I decided to go for it, take that leap of faith. And then we learned that because of the quarantine, branch offices and most new district offices were not going to have a physical office, and it would be done online. So there was some uncertainty on how everything was going to work out. I was just a little confused and lost at first. I didn't know how interviewing would work, how recruiting, training, anything for that matter would work out. I just remembered though that during that time, somehow I had to be responsible for $100,000 in sales for my branch because that was a number I ingrained in my mind after a TLA meeting, which is a leadership academy. J-Brad talked about us winning the Silver Cup as a division this year, and we made a rough plan for how much each district office, each branch office, and pilot office was supposed to make to reach a certain number as a division. So that's where I get the 100,000 number from. Anyway, I made the decision to not have a physical office and run my office from home. So I had to transition my interview from in-person to online. I was sort of bummed out at first because I had very strong interview numbers back when it was in person, but now I had to let go of that and conduct this new phone interview. I had to learn and adapt to that interview process, and eventually I did. But just as I got comfortable with this interview process, a new interview was introduced called Apex, which includes the video portion that many of you have gone through. I actually believe that most of you on this Zoom call went through the video portion of the interview, followed by a post phone call or a post breakout. Anyway, I had to learn this new script, and I was nervous of messing up in front of the camera, so I practiced a couple times with the Downey staff, and it was time to officially run my own show. However, during this time period, I was still in school till mid-May, finishing finals at USC, and I was learning and transitioning to the new interview process, and I wasn't very active with training. Pretty much I was just a bystander the first 2 to 3 weeks of the branch campaign. And to be honest, I didn't feel really good about that. So I started building my connection with my own people during training a little bit more. And I field trained with them personally just to build that connection with them and actually train them myself. Something I was doing good by that point is getting those trainees to make demos and get their first couple sales the first weekend on the job. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But I wasn't doing a good job of maintaining their momentum and pushing along with them to the end of their fast start. So that was my first area of improvement, getting the new trainees to do demos for the totality of their fast start and even post fast start, and not just their first 3 to 4 days on the job. Again, Hans coached me on how to work with them, and that area started to improve, coupled with what I was already doing well, and boom, that's how we started hitting 5K, 7K, 9K weeks as an office. And then came something that I never thought would happen. I had my first 10K fast starter. Mackenzie Rosales, who was also the top rep in Whittier with almost 20K for the summer, so huge shout out to Mackenzie. But I remember interviewing her and thinking, wow, she's really positive, sharp, she smiles all the time, I think she's gonna do really well here. And she got her second promotion on her first weekend, so her first 3 days on the job, she was already past $3,000 in sales. And if you make the math, if she continues at that rhythm, she would have hit 10K for her first 10 days. And Hans had a Zoom meeting with me and Mackenzie and pretty much coached her for me. He laid out a plan and gave all the pros of being a 10K fast starter. I was just there taking notes, but a couple of days later, I was on the phone with Mackenzie on Monday at 11 p.m. finding a way for her to get 500 CPO that would get her over the line over 10K. And at around 11:30 p.m., it was finally official. She was a 10K fast starter, so that was a crazy ride I'm definitely not gonna forget. It was so dramatic, but very fun at the same time. And then a couple days later, enters Rudy Morales. He launched out of a training and only did 3 demos his first 3 days. The results though, 2 homemakers and a galley set. So he was around 2,500 his first weekend. Tuesday came around, in another big sale. And again, the chance of him hitting 10K was very real, but we couldn't rely on just 1 demo per day. I had a conversation with him exactly like Hans did with Mackenzie the week before, and I used the notes I took to coach him that second half of his fast start. He started doing 3 or 4 demos a day and hit $10,000 on his 9th day on the job. During this span, we had been hitting 10K for 2 to 3 weeks as an office, but during this particular week, we got over $15,000, which was a new milestone for Whittier. And yet we were outside the top 10 branch offices for the summer campaign, which was hurting a little bit. So the next week, believe it or not, we actually regressed a little bit. We sold about 8,000 that week, and we were still outside the top 10. But after that, we hit a really good streak. We went 4 weeks out of 5, hitting over 10K for the week, consistently getting double digits, and we finally cracked the top 7 branch offices for the summer. During this time, I had also mastered the Apex interview, which I so much disliked and feared of transitioning to in the beginning. I feared it because the camera was needed and I was afraid of messing up in front of people, and I've never been tech savvy, but I conquered this Apex interview. I felt so comfortable doing this Apex interview and memorized it so well that I internalized it and changed the script a little bit to sound more like me and added a couple things here and there. And my numbers continued to be exceptional in that department. Now, during training, when we had breakouts, I would text J-Brad or Hans to leave me and the Whittier group alone in a breakout so I can connect with them and talk to my reps myself. I became eager to connect with them and became a better communicator because of that. Now, you can see the growth I underwent from someone who let Hans run the show during training early in May to me asking to be put alone with Whittier so I can run the group myself, from someone who feared the video interview to mastering it with really positive numbers. It's just that confidence that I grew in myself and my ability to positively influence people and connect with them. My demo also improved so much just from field training and attending the advanced trainings with my new reps every week. I have a fun time interacting with customers now and making jokes here and there, something that I never would have done before this summer. But overall, this summer has been crazy with a lot of ups and of course some downs like anywhere else. But I don't regret branching at all. In fact, I almost regret not tackling this opportunity and going 100% from the very first day of May. But, that's part of my learning experience. And that's why I'm very excited to branch again next summer with the foundation that I've built this summer. This is something that I'm always going to remember, the connections I made with the top people in the business, both managers and sales leaders alike, the people on my team. Just seeing people from my branch appear on the newsletter every week, getting their first sale or promotion here or hitting a milestone there. Rudy and Mackenzie who hit 10K, and we went to this 10K Fast Start dinner with Jay Brad and the Downey people. That's definitely much more rewarding to me than any paycheck. And I gotta admit that the paychecks have been very spicy this year, this summer especially. I've been able to save up enough money to move out of my parents and still have $10,000 in savings. But I take a lot of pride and satisfaction in passing the experience I've had with Vector to other people as well. And when it comes to branching, it's such a unique experience that you won't get anywhere else. Think about it. This company gives you money to open an office. In this case, a 70-year-old company gives a 19-year-old college student funds to open an office and mess up all he wants. Isn't that crazy? I mean, I'm grateful for Hans and Jay Brad though, because thankfully they didn't let me mess up, at least not a lot, and I met the expectations I had for myself. As an office, we're currently less than $3,000 away from $100,000 in sales for the summer campaign, and I've developed some great leaders who can pass on that experience to even more people, and that's what fires me up. So I'm excited to see many of you at the Intro to Leadership Academy meeting this Saturday, and just be able to work and learn with our new upcoming leaders. So thank you, everyone. Peace.